We all want to be the main man. Only through stress can we grow, yeah? And every time I was in a stressful situation, I got stronger. When I found fighting, when I found MMA, I actually found my purpose. The police came from nowhere and licked through all the windows and shouted, "Get on the floor, bro." And next thing you know, I'm on remand.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the BlueTick Show, Season 2, all about crime. Opposite me today, we got the one and the only Kane Mousah. He's the Badder owner, Bellator fighter. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike.
This has been a long time coming, bro, and you can see all I can do is smile when you're on the show because I already know this is probably going to be one of the best podcasts I've done yet. So how are you, firstly?
For me, brother, I'm amazing. Listen, I've seen the growth of the BlueTick Show now. I've seen it growing from when you told me about it. Remember, you told me initially that you, from the idea to see it now coming into fruition, it's a good thing, man. And
I got to be honest with you,
this one's gonna be sick.
Genuinely, when I first started the show, you was the first person I messaged. I swear, I mean that honestly. Obviously, I've watched a previous podcast. You was the first person I messaged because I just know me as an interviewer, you as a guest, it will just flow so nice.
Of course.
But look, everyone on here thinking, who's Kane? If you don't know who he is, then just Google his name, you'll find out who he is. But
yeah,
I want people to hear your story. So if we can throw it back to your childhood, obviously we'll get into the nitty and gritty of what has happened, but your childhood, who was Kane as a kid? What's going on, guys? If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you scroll down. We're now live on Spotify, so you can watch us while you're driving, listen to us while you're in the gym. Pretty much just listen to us anywhere. And make sure you give us a 5-star review on Spotify. Thank you.
Kane was... I was a young boy that was raised by a single mum with a big family, the Mousahs. I was raised in an area called Rusholme, part of South Manchester.
Rough area?
Very rough on the come up. It was close to Winslow Road for anyone who might know, who might be familiar with Manchester. It's what we call the Curry Mile, right next to Winslow Road is where I was raised, and you know, we were this lower class area. Single mum, big family. You know, it was me until the age of 8, and then my little sister was born.
Yeah.
And the streets, man, I always say to everybody, look, I always give gratitude to my mum because when I was young, you know, my household, my actual house establishment was safe. It was an amazing environment to be raised in. My mum was a very strong woman and she made sure that her children were safe in that environment. But obviously, out of her control is the streets. And being in Rusholme, you know, there was, at that time when I grew up in Manchester, obviously everyone knows the story of Gunchester and the gun crime and what was happening at that time. It was one of the most powerful cultures to ever hit the country, and you know, Manchester was on the map for being called Gunchester at the time, and I was coming up at a time when it was really at the height of it all, bro. It was heavy. But when I was young, from being a little kid on the streets, we had a good little community in Rusholme, and so we were just good kids, and some of us were a bit naughty, you know, we'd do the odd little stuff as we were growing up. You might be throwing stones at people's houses, robbing bikes out of people's back garden, nothing too heavy, but I was a good kid, do you know what I mean? I've always been a good kid, and I was raised well, disciplined well as well, do you know what I mean? My mum was a single mother raising me in the house, and don't get me wrong, I was, you could class it, some might say ADHD these days, I don't know, but for me, I was just full of energy. I was always the class clown, always hype in school, always jumping about, always trying to be centre of attention. And that obviously followed me through into the streets. When I was out and about, I always wanted to be number one. So as time went on, you know, we lived in Rusholme initially, and then the situation happened where my mum got stabbed. Mum got stabbed by a neighbour. She got stabbed in the back.
How old was you when that happened?
I think I was about 11 years of age.
So even at 11 years old, that's something that no one ever wants that, especially to their mum. And when you've been raised by just your mum,
just my mum,
that's your world.
No, it was a hurtful situation. It was a traumatic situation. Do you get what I'm saying? To know your mum's been stabbed, and to be fair with you, it was by one of my close friends' sister.
Oh wow! And was you there, present?
Well, I wasn't present at the time it happened because I was in the house when they were arguing on the street, and then as I've come down the stairs to come out, because I wasn't aware that it was happening, my mum came back in and she'd been stabbed in the back. And to be fair with you, it was over a computer game, bro. It was over a game that I borrowed off my friend, and his sister had an issue with it. And it was just, it was crazy where we were raised in it, like I'm saying to you, even though in my household was amazing, but the environment, the streets and the culture outside, it was a mad environment. Don't get me wrong. My auntie was on heroin and crack when I was a young boy, and you know, I used to see her coming in and out, and my mum always trying her best to look after her and make sure she had a safe place to come and be safe at certain times when the streets weren't really good to her, and my mum's best friend as well. You know, she was on drugs as well at the time. So obviously I was raised in a safe environment, but I had a mixture of different type of outside energies coming in, which kind of made me aware of the difference and made me actually aware of how lucky I was to have such a safe home at the time. Do you know what I mean? But obviously growing up then, my mum got stabbed, and I moved to an area called Fallowfield. And when I moved to Fallowfield, that's where things kind of got a little bit more intense. I kind of got myself involved in around the wrong people, as you would say. But at the time,
is this still a rough area, the place you've moved to?
Listen, since we all went jail, and there was a major operation when we started to get heavy into the gang culture. There was a major operation that was around that put a lot of us away at the time.
And what age did you get involved in all of that? What's going on? I hope you're all enjoying the episode so far. Make sure you all scroll down, hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers. At 10,000 subscribers, there's going to be an amazing episode that's already planned in the pipeline. So hit subscribe.
So you say around about 15, 16s when it got heavy, bro. Like, you know, there was shootings, there was murders, there was kidnappings, there was robberies, I was immersed in a culture that was kind of, it was like you'd say it was like, you'd hear about it, you'd hear stories about this gang, these gangs, and the stuff that would go on. And as a kid, it was kind of like, sounded like an action movie, but as you got older,
that was the life you was living.
I ended up being fully immersed in it. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And I was heavily a part of it. And part of me, like I said, always being life of the party and trying to be the standout person, the main man. And listen, we all want to be the main man. Anyone that says they don't, they're chatting shit, they're lying. Do you get me?
Or they know they can't be the main man.
Well, they haven't got the ability to be it. Do you know what I mean? So I always wanted to be number one.
And did you build a name on the streets?
Yeah, slowly. I was younger than everybody else. All my friends, they were older. I was like, when I really started getting involved in it, I was 15. And all my peers were like 18s, but at that age gap, it's a massive, you know
they
yourself.
Look at you as a younger,
I was little Kane. Do you get what I'm saying? Them times I was little Kane, but what happened was me being around them at the time, what I didn't realize at the time is that my mindset was excelling at a faster rate than anybody else that was my age, because I was surrounded with guys that were 3 years older than me. So what happened was, as time went on, I started to, pick certain personality traits of certain people. And I feel like that's something with me that I've kind of always done, is be able to analyze which people I resonate with personality-wise. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're talking, honestly, bro, there was probably 100 and roughly over 100 associates at the time that I would be seeing on within a period of.
It was a big squad. It weren't like a little organisation.
Anybody that knows about Manchester at the height of 2002, 2003 understood that when we were together, and when the man then went out, there was 100 man minimum. Sometimes we used to go out to Sanctuary, Milton Keynes, and there'd be 60, 70 man in a club at one time.
Yeah,
do you understand?
No one's fucking with you when there's 100 men strong.
Them times there, it was different, bro. We were in clubs and
it was your club.
We were in clubs and listen. We were in clubs and things were going on, and you're talking, things were happening in the clubs. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, where people knew that we was in the club. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And for me, I was kind of always analysing, because I always wanted to come up, yeah? I always looked and think, well, I want to be numero uno, I want to be number one. How do I get there? And what's the best way to get there? And what's the safest way to get there? Because what you understand is, in the streets, it's all about survival.
Yep.
And survival of the fittest. And survival's one thing, but then being able to rise to the top is a different aspect, and being able to analyze your surroundings and understand from a perspective of who has got the ability to be the best, then what you do is you sit back and you analyze the traits, and you then start to take on them traits, and then you analyze what traits. So I used to be able to see there were certain elders that I knew people were fearful of, scared of.
And you wanted to know why.
I knew why. Do you understand? Because
Yeah,
these
yeah.
people couldn't be trusted. These people were unpredictable. Do you get me? And then but then people were kind of excluded from certain situations. Back then it was all about partying, going out partying and this, that, and they wouldn't be invited to certain parties.
Yeah, okay.
So then I used to think, okay, well, I always want to be in a party, yeah, at them ages, yeah. I always want to be in a party, so I don't really want to move too much like him. But there's a difference between respect and fear, and these men were feared, yeah. But with the fear, you don't really get real people around you, because they're only around you because they're scared.
of you.
Do you get me? So then I used to think, okay, well, the fear factor for me, everybody always needs to have an element of fear about your character, yeah, because otherwise people will try you. But at the same time, respect for me, where there were certain elders where I see they were heavily respected and they were loved. And then when I seen the love that they used to get, I used to think, okay, well, I want a piece of that. And then I'd see the respect that the third person would get, and how trouble would never come their way. So then I'd think, okay, well, I have to have a little bit of that. But
So
how
you literally just take a bit from everyone.
how much do I take from him? How much do I take from him? How much do I take from this geezer? I don't want none of that one, because he gets bullied, he gets disrespected, no one takes him serious. So I don't really want to move and maneuver like that. And I don't think that, really and truly, if I'm honest with you, I don't think a lot of my peers were actually thinking like that. Do you get me? And I was the youngest one.
Even me sitting there listening to you, that's not a normal thought process someone has at 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Most 15, 16 years old are out there trying to prove a point, trying to, I'm going to deal with him, I'm going to show him, I'm the man. You were sitting there looking at it like, this is, okay, cool, I need to, that's not normal.
Don't get
that's
me wrong.
Different.
Don't get me wrong. There was times when I knew I had to step up.
Of course.
And step out, do you get me? And they were times where certain people would try me, do you get me? Because like I'm saying, I'm analysing people that are, now these olders are not my friend. My peers were 18. I had a strong role model in my life. He got shot at the age of 18. I was 15, 16. Wow. He was like a big brother to me, Marcus Fullerton. And he was someone who had leadership qualities from young age. He was the one where at any party, weekend, all the girls were coming. When Marcus was there, he was 6'1", light skin, good looking. I had another brother and a little brother, but he was numero uno. Yeah. Do you understand? And when he died, like, it cut me deep, bro. I found out that he got shot when I was like I said, about 15, and he was our leader. Do you get me? And when he died, bro, it left something on me. But what it also did was, it made me realize that now there's a void.
Number one is missing.
There's a void in the situation, but that didn't come straight away. I went through a heavy mourning period where I was kind of lost. Do you get me? Because I used to look up to this guy heavily. I'm talking, bro, these times here, if any time anyone stepped to me or anyone would have moved to me, I'd pick up the phone, I'd phone him, he'd be there within seconds, and it wouldn't just be, it wouldn't be just him, it would be a team of 10, 15 man that would come all on bikes with whatever was needed to deal with whatever the situation was. And I always had that protection with me. Do you understand? And it was a brotherhood at the time. And when you're young, you feel like this is all that matters in the world. And when he was taken from us, it kind of left me in a position where I was kind of like, okay, what now?
Yeah.
Do you get me? And it was kind of, I've always been such a focused person with winning. I always knew that, we was in wars at times, bro. There was shootings happening on a regular basis. I was given an Osman warning by the police saying that my life was in danger. I had to move out of the area. I've had younger ones murdered who were like my little brothers, having to go to funerals and look their mum in the face. That was down the line, and when Marcus died, I kind of analysed that, now it's time to step up. So I just put myself in a position where I was like, okay, I was able to kind of make alliances, and I made alliances with certain people. And what that would do was bring a bigger unit of us together, a bigger team. And then we pushed through at one stage, and you know, I quickly started to rise up through the ranks. You know, my name started to ring bells. I was focused on togetherness, and I always say I'm a defender, because even when initially we got involved in all the gang culture and everything, yeah, my friends' uncles were heavily involved, but there was one initial situation that initiated it, and you know, a situation happened, and I ended up getting moved to by some kids from over one side. So they've caught me slipping and moved to us, and then my people have gone back and retaliated, and then tit for tat escalated. 5 years later, it's guns, it's machine guns, it's all types of different type of shit going on. Do you know what I'm saying? Houses getting shot up, you know, all types of crazy stuff were happening at that time. And like I say to you, the culture was so strong, but that's all you felt.
That's the life you're living. Once you're in, you can't just jump out.
It's not even about in. Once that's all you've knew.
Yeah, true as well.
Do you get what I'm saying? When that's all you've knew, nothing else matters. Nothing else is even relevant until you get to a stage where, you know, I always pride myself on being able to adapt into many different situations, scenarios, and environments. Yeah. So you could put me anywhere in the world, and I'll adapt to a culture. You could drop me in Saudi Arabia, anywhere, bro, and I'll adapt to the culture. Whatever it is, I'll adapt. And I feel like I've always been a master of adaptation, yeah? So what I was able to do was find friends in different areas who would then, down the line, show me different ways, whether it was making money, whether it was different way to conduct yourself, whether it was a different way to speak, where it was a different way to be. Because don't forget, our culture was very vicious, bro. Like, I'd get beaten up off my own elders. I'd get battered, you know, for doing, when they might be pissed off with something in their life.
They're just taking it out on you.
They're taking it out on me. I've been held down in my friend's room, and he was older than me. I've been held by my neck and just punched relentlessly in my face, to the point where, you know, no one's there to help me. No one could save me, because it was a gang in it. It's a team in it, bro. Like, there's certain people, like, no one could ever do that to me unless it was one of my own above. Do you get me? And it's like a hierarchy way. But if I'm honest with you, it was more bullying. It wasn't. I didn't really necessarily deserve the type of stuff that happened.
Off at something else, so they took it out.
Do you get me? But what they didn't realize is that was making me stronger, because only through stress can we grow. Yeah. And every time I was in a stressful situation, I got stronger. I get beaten up. I'd get stronger, because I'd be able to deal with it. And I'd always look myself in the mirror after it had happened, and I'd tell myself, don't worry about it. One day, you'll be on top. And to this day, when I say to this day, brother, yeah, I've always believed it. And to this day, I'm the strongest one that ever came out of that area. Do you understand? Not just from a physical perspective, from an overall perspective. So, you know, I always say, the culture that I came from made me. It taught me so many lessons. And the lessons led me into prison.
So talk to us about that. Of course, when you're involved in gun war, shootings, like you said, everything.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time before you do get nicked. No matter what anyone says, yeah, there's so many people who think they're untouchable out there.
No.
I've seen it firsthand. Where I was brought up, there was violence, there was gangs, there was all of that. And my mum always said to me, there's going to be a knock on the door one day, and it's going to be for someone who's out there on the street. So whether it's you, my son, whether it's your boys that you chill with, one of you are getting nicked.
Someone's going down, bro. And it doesn't matter. Like I say to people as well, I always say, listen, you know, you might be the lucky one, innit?
Yeah, the 1%.
You might be the 1%, bro, but the odds are stacked so high against you. I ain't willing to take that risk anymore. I've never been from when it was, you know, I was a statistic winner. At the end of the day, I definitely weren't one of the 1%. Do you know what I mean? And I can't even from our team. I can't say there is. I think 100% of us all went prison
at one point.
At one point, selectively, everyone that I know from growing up has been in jail. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, you know,
we're going to move on to how obviously that did create badder clothing.
Yeah,
we'll move on to that.
Of course.
But I want to know, obviously, Why'd you go to prison? What did you get? Because
So-
obviously you was up to loads of bullshit. Yeah, let's be honest.
of course
you was
I
doing
was.
loads of madness.
Of course.
You've done it all. But what actually got you banged up?
So at one point, what was happening was I was kind of getting into a stage where my fight career started to take off. And in terms of my fighting, you know, when I found fighting, when I found MMA, I actually found my purpose. And this is where the transition happened, do you get me? And sometimes...
Did you start MMA to protect yourself? Was that what you started originally?
Initially, it was not even... This is the crazy thing, what people don't understand, right? When I started MMA, right, it's mad when I think about it. When I started MMA, it was because I wanted to become number one within my own sector within my team, because I knew what I learned over time was that it never got past physical altercations within the gang.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So what happens if it never gets past physical altercations within the gang? Then the best thing for me to do is become the most physical within the gang. And then what happens within that? Then, because, you know, at the time, doing crazy stuff and all that, I was always the one to do madness. Yeah, I was always the one to do a madness. So I had that in the bag anyway. But there was that other aspect is you can't bring that to any of your team members, yeah? So what is it that's going to take me to that next stage? Because everyone respected me because I was doing madnesses, yeah? But what's going to take me to that next stage? What I realized was fighting and training, and don't get me wrong, because I was caught up in gang wars and all this type of stuff, I'd get caught slipping from time to time. You know, I'd be walking down through Fallowfield, there, the car scream, ah! And 5 man will hop out the whip and I'm like hopping fences trying to get off, and there'll be times when I get caught and I've got to kind of have it out, but I'm getting had up sometimes one-on-ones I got had up by certain guys. You know, it's life, innit? Some of these guys that we were beefing with were serious members, and I never take anything away from them in that respect, because, you know, there was times when we was up and they was up and they was down and we was down, and it was back and forth and tit for tat. So I knew that I needed to get on my job, and that's why I started training. My uncle's always been a fifth Dan. My uncle Anthony, he's been one of my inspirations growing up. Obviously, I never had no father. My father never taught me anything. Always left my mum on her own, abandoned my mum. So my uncle was my role model.
Your father figure in your life.
Yeah, he was my father figure to a degree. Obviously, he had his own life. Do you get what I'm saying? But when he stepped in, it was a powerful experience because he was a martial artist, and we always had a picture of him on the fireplace doing a sidekick in one of his fights, and I always used to look up to him for that. And yeah, he took me on and started showing me how to fight then. So I said to him, knocked on his door one day, I said, yo, Unks, man, it's time, innit? I'm 18 now. Like, yeah, about 17. I said, I'm 17 now. What start? Do you get me? So he started taking me in the park, and he was training me for time. And then I joined Moss High Ground and Pound. And then from there, I just started to excel, bro. I was fighting every day. I'm rolling around on mats with crazy white guys with bald heads and black eyes, and I'm getting punched up. I'm coming back to the block, and all the man are saying, yo, your face is smashed up, bro, man. Why are you letting these guys just punch you up like that? And rare. But I always knew, I was like, you don't know what my purpose is with this. So I just read it out. And after about 12 months, I really started to get it. Do you get me? I come back on the avenue, and I'd be like, yo, what are you saying now? He wants it.
He wants it
and
now.
I get into tussles, and it was kind of like...
It was different.
It was different. But then when I went to Wolfslayer and started training with Mike Bidsbin and all these guys now, and Rampage Jackson, and I was doing a consistent training program, that's when the game changed, bro. This is where I was training 2 to 3 times a day. Do you get me? And I'm really started to become conditioned. My skill set was rising through the roof. Everyone was telling me how good I was. My confidence was high. And then there was a day when I came back to the avenue, and we were all there, summertime, and I pulled up and I've hopped out the whip, and everyone's like, yo, you just got from training there? I'm like, yeah, man, but I knew now. You get me? I was like, right, who wants it? So I was gassing, pushing, man, like, right, what? That's how, you know, males are funny, yeah? Like young men, this is why, you know, the culture of young alpha males is an amazing culture as well within itself. When I sit back and I see all the youngsters testing each other, I love it, bro. And, you know, I hopped out and I was putting it on some of my friends, bro, and one of them just tried it. I just judo flipped him, boom, boom. He just went down, next man, boom, tripped, boom, down, armbar, boom, boom, boom. Man, we're getting wrapped left, right, and center. And I just stepped up, bro, and I could feel it. Everyone was like, bro. And it came to that moment, bro, where it was like, you might as well give me the crown now. Do you get me? And that's when I knew, like, yeah.
But there must have been a little second there where you dropped a few of these boys and you sat and thought, shit, because when you're training, it's different. You do it in training, you do it, it's like...
You're competing against guys who are just as good as you are not.
And you're training with people who want to help you. So when you're flipping someone, for example, they're helping you flip them.
Of course, 100%.
You learn how to do it. But when you've gone there and these boys back in the day were giving it to you, you've dropped them all, you must have thought, okay, this shit works.
You know what the difference is with this MMA consistency, yeah? Or fighting, combat sports, consistency, whatever it is that you're doing, when you're consistent with it and you do nothing but it for a long period of time, once you come back to the real world around normal people,
it's different.
Oh, bro, it's so different. People try and throw a punch, they clinch you, they do something, and you're just like, bro, you're like a flick, throw, trip, dash, lock, submit. It's over, bro. Yeah. So it got to that point where I was like, okay, now I'm really starting to excel. And then I worked really hard at the fighting, and I started getting some pro fights. I won a few. And
this was before you went inside, right?
This was before. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So
your life has obviously started going in a better direction.
Starting to go in a better direction, but don't forget, I'm still heavily immersed in the roadside. There's no me trying to change like who I am or anything at this present moment.
And what about your uncle? Was he never trying to say to you, look, Kane, enough being...
At the time, you got to understand, like, what I'm saying to you is, this is a different ball game that you're talking about at this time, bro. Like, my uncle's seen people coming around shooting at us on the avenue. Do you get what I'm saying? He knows...
He can't turn around and say stop.
He knows it's a matter of life or death right now. It's either kill or be killed at that present moment. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's the type of culture it was. It's not no joke, this, bro. Anyone can go and check the history books and go online and see, you go online, you want to see Gunchester, the Gooch gang, Dodderton gang, Longside gang, all that at the time, bro. You go and look at that, and you'll understand what was really going on. Do you get me? So for my uncle to come and say anything to me at that present, it was a waste of time. Do you know what I mean? I was growing into a man as well at the time. Do you get me? And I've always been switched on, so we kind of understood that I know what I'm doing at this time. Do you get me? Even though I didn't, even though I thought I did, but at that time, we knew I was set in my ways. So anyway, then we started the fighting, and then I had a few pro fights, and that's when the transition happened, man. That's when the first change in my mind where I went. Everyone started telling me how good I was at the sport of MMA, and I thought, oh, you know what? I might just chase this dream, And for me to make that even that thought process, when all I've been immersed in is my brotherhood, we're going here together forever, and we're not like no one steps down, everyone stays together, and this was me kind of like realizing that you can really make something of yourself, because always from day one, from being a kid, I've always wanted to be somebody. Do you get me? And I just knew that this MMA way was a good way for me to do it. So I started to...
Did you love fighting? Because there's a lot of people where you talk to them and they're like, I loved it, I fell out of love with it. Did you...
No, listen, brother, I loved it. Because
there was no days where you're like, fuck,
nah. You're talking to about a 17-year-old alpha male with a culture of murder and violence that's behind him, in his back pocket, fueling his passion to become stronger, and once again it comes back down to survival of the fittest. To thrive, do you get me? How are you going to be having something at your access to becoming stronger, fit, and becoming the best within your own settings, and not take full advantage of it when you're a go-getter? Do you get me? So for me, it was like, this is a no-brainer. I'm in. I'm fully in. And then when I had the first fight. I had a first fight, bro. I was so confident. My first fight, I went into the fight. I've been training for 8 months. The coach said, yo, Kane, we've got a fight there in Stoke. Come down, rare, this and that. And I'm like, all right, sweet. I called everybody, bro. My mates from North Manchester, Salford. I had everyone down there. I went there. I got beat. Bro. Way. First time I got beat. Got pinned down by some kid. Couldn't get up. My skill set was horrendous, bro. But you know what? My ego took a big hit, because I was like, yo, bro, come. And I realised that was when I was at Mousah ground and pound before I went Wolfslayer, and that was the reason why I transitioned to Wolfslayer, because I knew that my professionalism, my skill set wasn't there. Yeah. As soon as I went Wolfslayer, bro, every fight from there, I had 2 fights. I had one against a kid in Birmingham. Go check that one out. Kane Mousah versus Farid Mohammed. And then I won that one. And then I had another one, But at the time of this second fight, I went to the Ultimate Fighter UFC Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, I got brought through for that. We found out that they were coming down to film at the gym. They were doing auditions in London. They told me that they were coming down to the gym. So when they told me they were coming down, I was like,
ready.
yo, this is me. At this time, I'm on tag. This time, I'm on tag, bro, yeah? I'm on tag. They've come down to the gym. The production team has come down from the UFC. I'd seen them walk through in the wool sled. They had like a upstairs bit where people could watch. As soon as I seen them land on there, it was sparring. Obviously, the coaches set up sparring so they could see who really had it. I was sparring a guy called Leroy Barnes, bro, and I was going crazy. Boom, 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 bang, hit him with a left hook. He's dropped down. I'm gassing, yeah, on the mat, just being loud so that I could get their attention. After it, they came up to me, man, and they said, look, we want you to come over to Vegas. So at that time I was on tag. I had to put an application through to probation, and they cleared my tag to let me go Vegas. I went Vegas because I'd not had enough pro fights. They couldn't let me get through, but I did a sick interview, rapped on the interview, did all types of crazy stuff, and they loved me, bro. And they said come back, but unfortunately for me, I was under operation by the police, and I didn't know.
So what was you on tag for?
I was on tag for cultivation.
Okay, so
at the time, and then. They let that go because it was a bit of a minor to them at the time. You know, they let me go on that. And then when I came back, I was under operation of the police, and I didn't know that I was under obs. Obviously, I come back from Vegas, and they said to me, the USC phoned me and said, "Listen, Kane, you're on our books now. All you got to do is just keep your head down, get some more pro fights, so next season we'll have you on." So I was like, right, that was it. Got my head down, boom, 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 boom. Took a big fight against a guy called Andy McGurgan from Next Generation in Liverpool. I went into that fight and I beat my man. It was a tough fight. He was a prospect from their gym. I beat him. And then 3 days later, we must have been in a car with a firearm, and the police came from nowhere and lit through all the windows and shouted, "Get on the floor, bro." And next thing you know, I'm on remand.
How many of you were in the car?
3 of us in the car, 3 of us remanded. 3 days after my win.
Wow.
So 3 days, this was like 8 weeks after back from Vegas, 3 days after a win. Next thing you know, I'm on a wing padded up with a Chinese man on induction wing, and the guys are smoking pure rolling tobacco, and I'm coughing and telling him, "Bro, you need to stop that." You know what I mean? So, you know, it was kind of, that's what happened, man. I went into prison.
And how long was you remanded for?
I got remanded for nine months. I put in a not guilty plea, got found guilty, and then I got sentenced to nine years.
Wow. How long? So 4.5?
Did 4.5. But luckily for me, when I first a ran trial, got guilty. Then me and McCody were in strange ways, and then from there went to Loudon Grange, and when I was in Loudon Grange, they started doing DCATs for BCAT prisoners, and I luckily got I applied for the DCAT, and this is when my brain started to change. Now I knew I wanted better for myself. Do you get what I'm saying? When I got a sentence, I said, look, I can't do 4.5 years in prison. Not me. Not me. Do you get what I'm saying? Like me, I can't be off these streets for 4.5 years. That's too long for someone like me. And I've always believed in the powers and God, and I believe that I was set for bigger things. And luckily, there was a legislation passed that gave the opportunity for BCAT prisoners to go straight from a BCAT to a DCAT with 2.5 years left. Yeah, and I was on the wing shouting out to everyone, "Yo, I'm about to go for this DCAT. I'm going for the DCAT." And everyone's like, "Bro, you ain't getting it." And I said, "Brother, I'm going for it, bro." Listen, you see, the next day, I applied for victim awareness, stress management, conflict management, business man, all of the courses, brother. Listen, I did every single course, put my application forward, but I was always, you know, a master of adaptation. Not one prison officer ever did a bad report on me ever, bro. And I was active whilst I was in jail. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Fights in prison?
Many, but not. It was when I had to kind of, more time, it was me just sticking on guys who were bullies. Do you get me?
Yeah.
I hate bullies, bro. I hate them with a passion, because I was bullied in the gang myself. Do you get me? So by these times, I'm in prison now. I'm a beast, bro. I'm like 13.5 stone, doing circuits, pad work, grappling.
And you're trained as well. You
and
know
I'm
how to fight.
Bro, I'm trained and I'm ready, bro. Do you get me? So anyone that was coming on the wing who may not have knew the dynamics on the wing and they'd start trying to move to people and certain people and I get wind of it, me and them are just going in a cell and having a conversation and whatever, and then when I come out of there, they're not bullying nobody no more. Do you get what I'm saying? And that was kind of where it was, and the prison officers respected that about me. Do you get me? So that's kind of why I had a good relationship with them. And then what happened there was I got my DCAT, come through the door, letter under the door. Congratulations, Kane Mousah, you've been given your DCAT. I had 2 year, 9 month left, bro.
That's changing.
2 year, 9 month. 2 year, 9 month, and they give me a DCAT, which meant within 4 months, bro, I'm gonna be on road, and I've got 2 that left me with. So within 5 months, I'm back on road now.
And when you're saying you're back on road,
I'm back on road.
Are you thinking of, okay, when I get back on road, I'm jumping back into fighting, I'm gonna be in the UFC soon? Are you thinking when I get back on road, I'm back on road?
Nah, good question. At the time. When I first landed in the DCAT prison, I was still like a little bit confused as to where and what I wanted to do. Do you get me? When I got back, I didn't know exactly how it was going to look. But what happened was I found out that there was a gym instructor, a gym officer who was doing level 2 qualifications, gym instructor qualifications. So when I've landed, man are saying, yeah, you know, Mr. Cooper's doing level 2 gym instructor. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, level 2 gym instructor. I'm saying, come on, bro. That means, you know, you can go and work out fitness first.
That's perfect for you.
Yo, man, them are checking for gal. They're going out, they're linking gal, then they're coming back to jail. And I'm like, what? Man are saying, yo, certain guys are going to gal's yard, from going to the gym, going to a gal's yard. And
then coming back.
Pressing, whatever they're doing, then coming back and going back. And I was like, nah, listen, this is me. So I went to the gym, must have had a couple situations where I had to kind of prove myself to this officer. And Mr. Cooper was an ex-Marine, innit? So he was just like, listen, like, if you're a fighter, you're about it. Show me respect and you'll get on the course. Showing in the respect I was on the course. Obviously, you know, by these times now, I'm what was it then? I was about to think I was like 25 now. Do you get me? So I'm a man now. So I'm becoming a real man now. So I know how to, you know, to adapt once again into his environment and to make him feel respected and to not lose respect myself, but make him feel respected. He was a gatekeeper. So because he's a gatekeeper, I have to
show him that respect.
I have to maneuver correctly in the situation to get the result that I want to get. Do you get me? And this is what I'm trying to say to people. You have to be aware of your surroundings and who can open certain doors and know how to maneuver around that specific person or that specific situation to get what you need to get out of it. Do you get what I'm saying? So then next thing you know, I'm on the course. I get my level 2 gym instructor. Boom, bro.
That's it, active.
Listen, when I say active, bro, man is getting on the prison bus to Derby, walking from Derby City Centre to the gym, teaching old women how to do yoga and stretching. I'm like 13.5 stone, deadlifting 230 key, doing madnesses, bro. And I'm in this gym hench and the women are coming. I'm talking 60-year-old women hanging off my, Kane, are we doing yoga today? Yes, love, no problem. I'm going to take you all through a yoga session. Once again, adaptation, being able to adapt. I'd be in there and you wouldn't even know I was from Fallowfield. I'd be in the gym. I'd be like, hi, you okay? My name's Kane Mousah. I'm the gym instructor today. I'm going to be taking everybody through a nice, quiet stretch yoga session.
You're sitting there like this.
And this like this, hench, and they're looking, thinking, everyone's looking. I don't even know what people were thinking them times, but you know what? It was an amazing situation, and it taught me so much. Do you get me? And that's where I always give thanks to God, and I say, you know, like, I've been blessed, bro. Like, who gets a situation where that ends up happening? Do you get me? Where you end up...
That's unheard of, man. You're not getting Cat D prison
with 2 year, 9 months. Mm-hmm. It's unheard of, bro.
It's mad.
It's mad. Do you get
what I'm saying? Might as well have not gone in.
Might as well have not gone in.
For real.
Do you get what I'm saying to you? But it's kind of like, I believe that I've been given that opportunity for a reason. Yeah. And I believe that reason is to give back. And that's where we lead into where we're up to in terms of coming out. I got my level 3 personal trainer. That's another situation that's unheard of. The reason I got that level 3 is because a guy was walking through the gym giving out level 3 qualifications to people who were doing 46 hours a week for the gyms, yeah. So certain people are doing that amount of hours, you get given a free qualification. So I just went to the manager, Dobbo. Shout out to Dobbo, my guy. Said, Dobbo, listen, you need to
give me more hours.
You need to, nah. I was not employed. Oh. I'm voluntary.
Oh shit!
So he had to tell them that I was employed.
And he patterned you that.
Patterned me because once again, who's the gatekeeper?
You adapted. You made him. Yeah.
Do you get me? So now I've adapted into that situation. Now I'm with the gatekeeper there, and next thing you know, I'm on this level 3 course. I got my level 3 qualification. Now I'm working out. Now I'm at another gym in Burton doing level 2 at the time. Then I got my level 3. I went to Mansfield. And then I became PT there. I was making 3-4 bags a week. I mean a month, sorry, tell a lie. I'm making 3-4 bags a month.
A week, bro?
Yeah, a bag a week. I was doing like 5 sessions a day.
And you're still locked up?
I'm still locked up at this time.
Making a bag a week?
I'm still locked up at this time. I'm going to these people in the gym and saying, listen, my training program was called Max Out Training. So what I did was a session would be half an hour pads and then half an hour strength and conditioning. Yeah. So no one was doing that. It was a niche in the gym because all these other PTs were just doing basic. Come on, basic work. I'm coming with jailhouse workouts, MMA workouts, all combined into one for an hour. And you got, once again, you got me in Mansfield, which is near Nottingham, some hench black guy from Manchester, MMA fighter, and everyone was jumping on it. And you know what? Once again, I give thanks to God that he put me in that situation because I was earning then. Then I was earning, I was stacking. And
was you fighting at this point?
I was not fighting because I was still in jail. And then it led to me becoming, I got an opportunity then to fight.
Yeah?
Yeah, Brendan took on one of my home leagues. Brendan took me to a fight show. And basically I seen the fight show and said, yo, listen, this is what I need to do. I need to be on this show. So then I got a home leave and I booked a fight.
On the home leave?
On the home leave. And the home leave was 3 days before I was released.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
So I actually went on the home leave, booked a fight, had the fight, beat the guy, went back to jail the next day. And then on the Monday, the Tuesday, I got released. And then I came out and then I was celebrated properly. Do you know what I mean? So like I said, my journey's been blessed. And it was at that point when I was working as a level 3 gym instructor, PT, that I got an opportunity then to become a AGM. So Pure Gym offered me a job to become an AGM.
What's AGM?
Assistant gym manager.
Okay.
So I'm in jail, and then on release, I was given an assistant manager's position in Pure Gym. Yeah, they trusted me, bro, and I took it. I took the opportunity and I flew with it. I became a good AGM, and that's when I started to realize that, right, this is done for me now.
But you know, just from listening to this up until here, yeah, you may agree, you may not agree, but prison was the best thing that ever happened to you.
It was the best thing that ever happened to me, bro.
During that moment when you first got bagged, you must have thought, oh my gosh.
Nah, I thought it was over. I honestly,
even just hearing up until here, yeah, and I know you still got loads more to discuss about where you are now, but prison was the best thing that ever happened to you.
100%.
And that's mad.
It's mad, and I don't want people to take that as...
Let me go prison, of course.
Let me go prison, because like I said, you know, these stories that you're hearing about myself, and this is why when people talk about success, like, I understand my story and I understand what I've been through, and through what I've been through within itself, to be out here now, to be in the position that I'm in, is a success story within itself. Do you get me? Even though I've got a lot more to achieve and a lot more to go, so I don't ever compare myself to anybody else, because I don't expect anybody else to compare themselves, because your own story is your own story. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And your own time frame and everything else is in yours, and mine is mine, and it's an amazing story. And I know, just, you know, as I sit back and reflect on it, sometimes it's kind of something where I think, wow. Do you get me? And we're still here, and we're pushing, and we're on to some new heights, man. It's amazing.
So look, that's the crime out of the way, yeah. You done that, and that was the only time you went to prison, right? You didn't go back.
No. That was done. That was you're talking over 15.
So let's close that chapter. Yeah,
that's
prison
done.
Life done, closed. How I know you is obviously through Badder.
Yep.
Be a dangerous rival.
Of course.
You're probably one of the baddest men I know.
Okay, respect that.
I gotta say, and I'm not saying this because you're my boy or anything, I'm being honest, Jess. Yeah. So I'm not saying this for you lot thinking, your clothing
is
fucking sick.
Tell them, mate.
Look, I'm not saying
Tell
it
them, bro.
and I should have worn my hoodie, to be
Nah,
fair.
it's
but,
fine, man. It's your time now,
but
innit? It's
I gotta be
BlueTick
real.
showtime.
I'm dead honest. It is some of the best fit.
Yes.
Some of the, you know what it is as well. Yeah, you get some clothing, and one thing I say about yours, the quality is good, man.
Always.
You get sometimes you get shit. It's either too thin or too thick. It don't fit right. But I don't know what you done. Don't know what magic you worked out there with your. I don't know what happened, but everything is bang on.
Yes.
Every single thing is bang on, even down to the fitness wear, the tracksuits, the hoodies, all of it. For you guys watching it, I'm not saying it because I'm doing a podcast. Just go get a t-shirt or something and come chat to me after.
What I'm gonna say to you, just wait for. This is where you've got to understand. Right now, the brand is in an amazing transitional period. People who know Badder, you may be looking on the socials thinking, "Well, what's going on? They've not really released nothing for a while now." That's because what you got to understand is about these businesses. We've been going for 5 years now, and any successful business has to go through a stage of transition and proving themselves and Badder has now got itself into a position where it's got a lot of notoriety and it's got a lot of people's attention, and there's been an amazing transitional period that's happening right now as we speak. And what you guys are going to see from Badder over the next 6 months, believe me, do you see this year, this whole year?
Yeah.
When we get to the end, and mark my words, when we get to the end of 2023, I want everybody to know that I'm probably going to repost this. 2023 is going to be the year where you sit there and go, wow. Like, you really, really put the work in and you have really created something special. And I feel like testament to the brand and to the team is that we never compromise on quality, bro.
No, that's. I'm not even saying it just because obviously you're my boy, but the quality, I've said it from day dot. Even when I got the clothes, tried it on, I was like, this is fucking.
You said it from day.
I said it from day when I first got that parcel. I phoned you up and I was like, "Bro, what have you done here?" Like, real talks. Yeah. But look, throw it back. How was Badder Boom? How was it created? Because look, all your childhood and all of that is obviously put into the brand because 100%. You can see it. It's called Badder.
It's called Badder, bro.
And I remember when I put up a picture, I posted it with Badder and I put, "I'm badder than you." That was the caption.
Yeah, that was a bad boy caption. I love that one.
And I just want to know, how did you go from being from the streets to locked up to now having one of the best clothing brands in my eyes that's launching and obviously got so much more to grow? Yep. How was that born? What went through your head? Okay, let me open a clothing brand now.
All praise to Allah, bro. All praise be to God. It's like, once again, everything happens for a reason, yeah? So everything in my life has been
stepping stone,
yeah? And course of events. Okay. Course of events that have led to me being in a situation where I was working with somebody at one point. I was working with someone in the music industry, and then I ended up reaching out to my ex-business partner. And we ended up developing a relationship, and he was the guy that started Gym King.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Carl Garnett, shout out to Carl. And he basically came to me and just said, "Look, bro, I want to start a brand with you. I'm moving on from working with Gym King, and I want to kind of work with you. I respect you. I see everything that you're doing, and I feel like we can do something special together." And he came over to me with obviously both of them now. It's the brand's in my hands now. So my initial business partners are no longer with the brand. It's me and a new group of management. We've got a sick team that we put together. But I'll never forget about my original guys, Carl and Roger. These two came over and put faith in me and said, "Look, we want to start the brand up with you." And we sat down, we had some sick meetings, and Badder was made, bro. You know.
The name? How was the name? Where did it come from?
Be a bad man, Badder man.
Is that what it was, yeah?
If you understand about the origins of Badder, you've got the Islamic War of Badder.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it was 300 versus 1100. It's the most famous war in Islam. It was an amazing feat for the warriors at that time, and it all fitted in. Everything once again, look, you got all the course of events, yeah. Now, badder. When we were kids, it was be a bad man. I'm badder than I'm a badder man than when we were younger. It used to be, bro, I'm badder than my man.
Yeah.
That's what we used to say, bro. My man's not bad, bro. I'm a badder man, bro. Like, I'm a badder, and it just made so much sense. And when it came through, we were like, right, badder. Like there were certain words that resonated, and badder came up, and it was like, boom, stop.
That's it.
There we go. Carl was amazing at that. Right, boom. And it's all down to God putting certain people in my life and certain conversations and certain situations and certain this that all lead to one road. And it's about understanding that as long as you believe and you are working your ass off consistently every single day, and you never ever fail to you never let your belief drop, and you stay consistent and you grind no matter where you're going. Because sometimes I've been grinding with no direction, not knowing what I'm doing, bro. I just know I'm working for something in the gym, training, fighting, having conversations, interacting with people, what business opportunities, whatever it is that can go down. I've always been on that path, and God put this in my way, and it all just made sense at the right time. And then we launched the brand, and the brand became Excel. We had all the right people wearing it at the right time. It was just the right time to launch Badder. Badder got launched at the right time, and we went through a lot of growing pains. We went through a lot of situations that people don't understand. We've been through so much as a brand. We've been through so much pain as a brand, and testament to the name, testament to the brand itself, but more than anything, testament to the people.
Yeah.
Because without the people, there would be no Badder. But without the meaning of the brand, Badder, be a dangerous rival, competitive spirit, never back down. If you ain't number one, make sure number one's that you knows that you're always on his case. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what be a dangerous rival stands for. And when you bring something to market that has such meaning, then you match it with the quality. Like I said, I don't ever compromise on quality. 320 GSM. Certain composition of fabrication makes the tracksuit sit certain ways, makes it feel certain ways. We won't compromise on certain things unless we're bringing a new style, and that's fine. But we always have our base fundamental tracksuits that we always put out that everyone loves, that you love, that fit.
Bang on.
So that's where the brand's been able to sustain all the pain that it's been through, because there's been times when we've had no stock.
And it's consistency as well.
Consistency, but there's been times when we went into COVID.
Yeah.
And we launched into Footasylum, and soon as the stock hit the stores, the stores shut.
Shit, yeah.
That's what people don't know. And
what was it like when you're walking into Footasylum, yeah? From this little young man from the hood, trying to be the baddest man. You walk in there, and I've seen it. I remember when you was first posting it. Obviously, that's when I first met you, and you've posted the big, what was it called? In Footasylum, when you fully launched it, you had a whole aisle kind of thing.
Yeah. We had a certain section, and we had the boards, and
I remember that, and that feeling when you look at it and you think, right, this is me. This is all me. How, like, from a little young man, obviously, who was on the streets trying to be the baddest man, and now you own the Badder brand.
Yeah.
Like, that must have just been so, like, heartwarming, you know what I'm saying? Like, where it's just like, you know what, I've done it, man.
Bro, I can't put into words what that actual feeling is like. It's something where you have to always be grateful. Do you get?
100.
I always have to be grateful, bro, because there's so many people that want to be in that position, in that situation, that have tried and not been able to make it happen. And it just kind of like hits you at a point where you kind of like, wow, like we really did it. But the issue with that is, and I always say, never become complacent ever.
Yeah, no.
Do you understand? Complacency kills, man. Yeah, and once we got into that, it was like, okay, for me, it was what's next? Because if I don't think what's next, then we're going to get stuck. And what happens when you get stuck, you become stale, and people just forget about you. And so it's always about that transitional move forward. And seeing Badder in store was a major achievement, and it was a big milestone hit. But then it's like, okay, what's next? And now we're in a position where we've still got an amazing relationship with Footasylum. We've now got an amazing partnership with a massive partner, which will be announced soon. we're just still in early stages with that, and I'll let you know. But when that comes out, that's going to be major. It's going to be massive. It's one of the probably
this year. Will we hear about it this year?
You'll hear about it this year.
Okay.
You'll hear about it this year, and it's probably going to be a pivotal transitional move for the brand, which is going to take us to that place where we know we're meant to be, which is worldwide global recognition. And it's not just that as well. Remember, it's all about giving back. So I've always wanted the business to be in a place where we can generate enough revenue where I can allocate certain marketing budget to go and give back to kids. You know, sponsors.
Because I've seen in the Manchester top team, they're always looking after the boys there.
100%.
I see all the boys there. Whenever like they've always got badder on. You're always taking the piss out of some of them. I always see it on your gram, and even that where you can go into your gym, support your boys there, even if it is just giving them a hoodie,
bro.
Because some of the boys there, obviously I don't know, but some of them are probably from the hood.
Bro,
some of them have probably got nothing. Even giving them a hoodie, a tracksuit, that's a big deal to them.
Bro, it's everything to them.
That's what I mean. And doing that is more than seeing your brand up in Footasylum or anything.
For me, the reason why what you said there makes so much sense is because of this. Think about it. I used to go to the gym, and there'd be everybody in the gym, right? And Mike was the number one UK
UFC
poster boy for UFC. This man was getting boxes of cage fighter gear, that gear, and I was like, yo. Anytime I'd be like,
anything for me?
Nah, what?
You're just taking
anything. I'm hopping in, grabbing like ready to fight. Mike could take his bits and he'd leave it, and we were all like, you know, we were just in there. You know, it's opportunities. We're trying to get whatever we can get, and now I'm in a position where I can actually be the guy that does that for them, bro. I know exactly what it feels like. Even a hoodie, whatever it is, I give as much as I can give within business, with what the business will allow at this present moment, and I give as much as I can. But the main thing I give with these guys at the moment, until we kind of take the business to where it's going, is I just give them the motivation, the inspiration. I give them presence
and guidance as well.
Well, that's just what my presence does. It gives them guidance, and you know, to see someone like me doing what I'm doing is nothing but inspirational for them, because a lot
of these boys as well are looking at you thinking, bro, you know, if he can do it, why can't I do it? Yeah,
bro, we're all the same. You know, it's just it's this that makes the difference.
100%.
You get me? And if you believe in yourself, and you believe in your path, and you believe in your journey, and you stick to it, and you focus, then only good things are gonna come. But trust me, life is about up and down. It's about experiences, because I always say, we can only grow through stress. Stress is the only thing that helps us grow. Even when you're reading a book and you have to focus on it, your brain, it stresses. You go to the gym, your muscles, they stress. You have a fight, you get punched, you're in stress, you go through stress, and what happens is it builds you and makes you stronger.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
And these are the sayings, and this is what we're saying. So, you know, I kind of show these guys like, look, I'm honest with them. When I'm going through ups and downs, I'll come in the gym like, bro, it's been a hard week, but we keep going regardless. Because if I'm always in there like everything's happy, plain sailing, then when they hit some adversity, what they're going to do? They're going to think, whoa, well, why this? Why me? And life isn't easy. And that's the whole point of life. We don't want it easy. We need to be that grown, experienced, you know, end result. Do you get what I'm saying? We're always chasing next level, next heights. We'll never be perfect. Do you get what I'm saying? We'll never be perfect, but we'll just try our hardest to be the best version of ourselves.
100%. And look, you're involved now with loads of people. You got your little protege, I suppose, Brendan.
Well, he's not my... Yeah, you know...
He is when I see you and him,
you know, he's not my little... You know,
when I look on your Insta and I see you two, the bond I see... Look, obviously, I see it just through Insta. Yeah. I don't know it, but you look at him like a little brother.
Yeah, 100%.
And whether he's your protege or not, in the sense as... You want to give him the guidance and turn him into something so amazing, yeah? And I see it in there, and you're so proud. Last fight when he won, you must have done about 10 stories about this fight, man. Yeah? You must have posted it more than you post yourself. But I was so like, bruv, you know what? That's love, man. That is respect there. The gym, the strength in that gym is mad. The way, the support you lot got for each other. And every time I watch it, Manchester top team's always winning.
Yeah, of course, man.
Always winning.
You see with Brendan, like, he's like my little brother regardless of what. He's his own man now. You know, he's a world champion. And, you know, he's had something installed in him that I didn't install in him, which is his drive and his determination and his natural ability. You know, I've just kind of been there for him as as his best friend, as his right hand, as his big brother, whatever you want to call it, and I'll always be in his corner and I'll always support him. And it's just amazing to see him do what he's doing right now, because don't get it twisted, he's come from the same area. He might not have been involved in what I was involved in on the growth, but he's come from a rough area. He's come from the same area. Do you know what I'm saying? And for him to do it once again for these kids is another. Listen, we've got so many inspirational guys around us at the moment. He's got to the height, man. He's world champion now. No one can ever take anything away from him. Not only is he world champion, he's made some good money now.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So he's in a position where, Brendan's really focused on giving back to the community. Initially he was the one that got the gym going with everybody and got everybody up and running with it, and now the gyms grew. You got Carl Prince, who's came in with the team. You got Lofty, you got Aaron, and you've got myself. You got Lerone Murphy, Lerone's UFC, and it's not just about me. It's not just about Brendan. It's not just about Carl. It's about the culture. It's about Manchester for us. It's about the UK, and it's about England. And it's showing everybody that we can do whatever anybody else is doing. But you know what? To be fair, we sprinkle a bit of sauce on it, we probably do it better. Do you get what I'm saying? And yeah, man, it's just good to see. Like I said something the other day. I said it's now time where everybody's stepping out. All the younger fighters in the gym are stepping out of everybody else's shadow. You got Lewis McGrill, and he's stepping out. We've got so many prospects in the gym. It's amazing to see everyone stepping into their own lane, and it's been a graft. Don't get me wrong. It's been like 6-7 years of us all working together collectively to kind of motivate each other, and especially the younger generation. And now they're coming into their own. It's amazing to see. So you got Brendan, world champion. You got myself fighting Bellator. You've got Lerone, UFC's fighting in London. You got Lewis McGrillen now, who's becoming one of the fastest growing UK talents in MMA, knocking everybody out with his left hand. And you got Manchester Top Team becoming recognised as one of the best gyms. I'd say one of the best gyms in the world on the come up now. So, in time will tell. But one thing I know is that we're consistent and everyone's focused and everyone's on the same page. And
look, it's a marathon, not a sprint at the end of the day.
Course.
It hasn't happened overnight. It's through hard work and consistency.
Exactly.
You've all done it as a team, whether one of you are better than the other, whether that, it's one team.
100%.
No matter what, you all train there, you all fight there, you all do your thing, and you're all trying to be the best you can in each way. You might have a better right hook than him, but he might have a better left hook than you.
And this is the thing. Everyone's got their own qualities, and it don't matter whether it's in fighting. This is why it's very important to have a good team around you. Do you get me? Like now with my business with Badr, I've got an amazing team in the background, and people will come to the light when the time's right once again. So like I said, there's a lot of things going on in the background, and it's all going to come to light in the right time. But we've got a sick team now.
2023 is the year for Badr, yeah?
It's the year for everybody, bro. It's not just the year for me. It's the year for the BlueTick show. It's the year for Manchester Top Team. It's the year for all my friends. Anyone who's been grinding throughout, I feel this year is a year when people are going to start getting to what it is that they set out to get to. Do you know what I mean? And we all just need to everyone needs to support each other, bro. Do you get me? Everyone needs to support each other. People, other podcast shows need to support you. Other fighting gyms need to support other fighting gyms, fighters. We're all coming from a struggle regardless of what. Everyone's just working to be in a better place.
That's what everyone wants. But look, we see you involved in some YouTube shit as well, right?
Yeah.
Taylor getting involved in all that.
My brother, man.
The
wild child. I love that guy, man. He's one of the most clean-hearted people I've come across, man. And he's a unique character within himself. He's got heart. He's got a good heart, and he's got heart of a lion. He don't fear nothing, don't fear nobody. And you know what? He's on a path for amazing achievements.
Do you train him up?
I've trained him at times, but I'm not his full-time trainer. If I was his full-time trainer, he probably wouldn't talk to me no more. Because he's, like he said, he's got this fight coming up with Swarms. So we're in London on the weekend for that one. And you know what? He's been working. He's ready to fight, man. Listen, he's ready to fight, and that's the main thing.
What's your prediction for that fight?
I think if Ryan lands some good solid shots on Swarms, he's gonna rock him up. Don't get me wrong, Swarms has been training, so a fight's a fight. Look, I'm a real fighter, so I know a fight's a fight. It can go anyway. But I know Ryan's coming ready. I believe that Slim was a harder fight than what Swarms is going to be. Slim's 100%. A better boxer than Swarm, and Slim couldn't get him out of there. And I'm telling you now, I only had 12 days to train with Ryan for that fight, and I put him through some dark times, bro. We nearly fell out through that camp, and he'll tell everybody we nearly fell out because I took him to some dark places. And don't forget, he's not a fighter, bro. He can fight. He's a fighter at heart, but he's not a fighter. He's not trained to be a fighter. He's only started over the last year and a bit. Do you know what I'm saying?
And he started it for jokes as well.
And he started it for jokes, bro.
He doesn't need to fight.
Bro, he don't need to fight. He's got businesses left, right, and centre. He's, you know, and shout out to him. He's now got himself an amazing wife. Shout out to copy that, you know.
And one thing with Ryan, yeah, and I heard this from a few people, my man's connected. He knows everyone.
Yeah, don't mess with it. Don't mess with his network.
He
bro.
knows his phone book
Don't
is
mess
a
with his
joke.
Network. Don't mess with his network, bro. When they say your network is your net worth, trust me, he knows what it's about. Do you get what I'm saying?
He set up the Mayweather and Deji fight.
He was the one he was a major player in that made that one come through. Do you know what I'm saying? And that was just light work for him.
Yeah.
That was light work for him. So now, shout out to my brother Ryan, man. I love him like life, and I've always been his corner regardless of what, you know, whether he steps in the ring and whatever happens in the ring, it happens. I'll always be in his corner. That's just the person I am. Do you know what I'm saying?
And last but not least, yeah, let's finish up on Jordan McCann.
Jordan's another one. He's another one. He's another wild child. It's like I'm just it's like I just attract the crazy ones. But you know what, bro? I wouldn't have it any other way, man. I love them both. Jordan's another one. Jordan McCann is another clean-hearted family man who's got an amazing outlook on life, who wants to achieve great things. And you know what? Sincerely, he wants to give back. He really wants to give back. That's his thing. You know, when people don't understand, Jordan earns money and he gives it to everybody. I swear to you, he gives it to everybody because all he wants to do is make people happy. Do you get me? And he's a real friend, and he's a die-hard friend. You see him shouting, oh, everybody knows he's Free Kane. Do you know what I mean? And that's his right hand, and he stands on him, and he's making amazing waves in the music industry. A lot of people are resonating with his music because he talks his pain, he talks his facts, and he gets it out there, and people love him for that. Do you know what I mean? And he's got amazing energy. Don't get me wrong, he's a madman.
Yeah,
and he's a self-declared madman, but but you wouldn't have him any other way, because if he wasn't who he was, he wouldn't be where he is.
And when he raps his music, he raps facts, his
Real
life.
Facts.
He doesn't go on there and scream about this and that and bullshit. It's his life. He's lived it.
100%.
So people can listen to it and they say, you know, I respect him because he's actually lived that life.
100%. And you know what? He's just done a sold-out Manchester tour. That was crazy. The energy in there was amazing. He's got shows all booked around the UK, and then I think he's doing it. He's got his tour coming up as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
Listen, I think many people are watching this podcast and they can all understand now that you've switched your life around. You're not as much as, don't get it twisted, Kane the Madman's still there.
Of course,
when he puts them gloves on and goes in the cage, he's still there.
He's just tamed now. He's tamed. He knows
I
how
think
to control it.
like you say, you know how to adapt yourself in different situations. And now you're in situations where you're around people where you're around business. You can't be the madman in the business as much as you got to hold your own. When you're in the cage, you're the madman. You let that come out. Then when you're sitting here in a podcast, you're the nice man, the guy who tells a story. Then when you're in your boardroom having your meetings, you're probably telling people, yo, I want it this way, and that's how it's happening. But look, I want everyone to take this podcast, not in a, oh yeah, Kane's a bad man, he's about this, da-da-da. No, Kane done what he done, and now he's in a position where you can tell your story and guide people and say, you know what, it happened to me, it doesn't mean it needs to happen to you.
100%.
And I know for a fact that you do want to guide the younger generations, and that is what I love about you. That is one thing that, even I remember the first day I met you in the restaurant, I spoke to you about I wanted to start a clothing brand. He could have very easily turned around and said, you know what, fuck that, man, that's another competition. He sat down and he said, Mikey, anytime, come to Manchester, I'll pattern it for you. And you don't need to do that for me. You met me for 5 minutes. You don't need to help me. I was a stranger. I knew you through someone else, but straight away you gave me that love. So look, Kane, 2023, you got better clothing, you got fights coming up, you just signed another fight deal coming up. I saw that yesterday. And you've been going mad on Instagram about some formula, some magic potion.
The formula, bro.
Bro, talk to me, because at this rate I need some of that. Talk to me.
Now you see with the formula, so I want to impact people's lives for the better, yeah? Let's get that right. But for me, it's focusing on being able to have so many different aspects of revenue streams coming in as well. I'd rather do something that I can impact people's lives with, but I'm always about credibility, right? Everything with me about credibility in terms of if I say something, I want people to know this is the real way.
Yeah.
Whether it's a restaurant I eat at, whether it's a clothing brand, whether it's a holiday,
you want
whatever
people to take your word for it.
Just take my word, yeah. And with the formula, I've been doing training all my life, right? And my last fighting camp, me and James, my S&C coach, put a strength and conditioning program in place, which allowed me to perform to the best that I've ever performed. Now, that had a combination of my nutrition from Dan Hendricks, the nutrition plan that I follow, and my own supplementation that I take, whether people might say it doesn't work, whatever. For me, this is my formula.
Yeah.
So once the strength and conditioning program came in, and I felt the way I felt, bro, I went in the second round, I looked over my shoulder, I had gas, and the guy was gassing, and I said to my car, I said, bro, I'm fit. And he said, go and do what you need to do. And I went out and I pieced him up. Do you get what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
And I knew at that point I'd found now with my nutrition, with my supplementation, with my sleep, with my hydration.
The perfect
and
combination.
The formula. So now what I wanted to do is be able to give something to the people where, as long as I always say, as long as you follow this and stick to the program, believe me, there's 4 training sessions a week. There is nutrition advice in there. There's guidance. So every exercise that's on the program, you can click a link and it'll take you straight through to me demonstrating. There's also a Telegram group that we've got set up, which I've got my nutrition coach in there, my S&C coach in there. And we're building a team, we're building a community of people that are focused on becoming better. So we're in there. These guys are getting day-to-day updates on nutrition advice, bro. No one ain't giving you that for an ebook.
Yeah, no way.
This is a digital ebook that comes through. When you purchase it, it'll come through to your email. You download it, you go through it, you get a link that'll take you through to the Telegram. You get assessed to make sure that you've actually got the program, and then you get into the group. And once you're in there, you're in. And that's what the formula is about, and I want everybody to understand that.
And how do people buy this ebook?
Literally, you go on my Insta.
I'll make it easier. Guys, scroll down on this video here. The link's there. Hit that link.
Yes, there we go.
And they can just buy it there, yeah?
Buy it straight there. And then, bro, and now it's kind of like, it fits in with me, innit? I've always wanted to help people and give, and this is kind of my other way to do it, you know? I can earn, I can help people, I can guide, I can do it all, and it's affecting people's life for the better, man.
Look, that's it. You heard it from his mouth himself. The formula. Bro, you need to send me that formula. I need to see how that works. But guys, thank you, Kane.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming on. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget the formula's down below.
Let's go.